I don't get sick very often. I'll maybe get one cold a year, and I rarely get the flu. And for a long time, I believed that sickness was mostly mental. For example, when I would start to feel the symptoms of a cold, say a runny nose, sore throat, coughing, fatigue, I would immediately begin to talk myself out of it. My wife would even say, "Hey, sounds like you're getting sick. How are you feeling? Do I need to get you medicine?" But instantly, I would tell her that I was fine and that I was not getting sick. It didn't matter how bad the symptoms got. I would always say, "I am not sick." When the truth was, I was sick. I was sick as a dog. When we are experiencing burnout, we don't want to acknowledge it, because the moment you acknowledge it, then there's no turning back. You are burnt out, you've admitted it, and there is nothing you can do about it. What we don't realize, though, is that a lot of times if you can notice the symptoms and begin treating them early, then your sickness will either be much shorter or won't happen at all. So if you can begin to notice the symptoms of burnout and begin treating them early, you can greatly lessen your chances of becoming so burnt out that you leave the ministry altogether or even leave your faith. So the first symptom that is a sign of burnout, is when you are praying less and less. Towards the beginning of my third year of full-time ministry, I noticed that I wasn't praying very much. I mean, not very much at all. I prayed all the time during services or other church events. Even at all my family gatherings, I would be nominated to pray. But on my own, in private, I rarely prayed. This went on for a while and I didn't think anything of it. I would brush it off, believing it wasn't a problem, until I stopped praying altogether and I finally realized and admitted that I actually hated to pray. That's when I knew something was very wrong and I needed to address it. Little did I know at the time, but that was the first symptom I experienced that would lead to my eventual burnout. I knew I needed to get back into praying, but the prayer that would come out of my mouth was heartless, fake, and rehearsed. The first thing I did to help this was read other people's prayers from church fathers and mothers, and prayers from books of liturgy. What really primed my heart for prayers of my own was going through the daily liturgy from Common Prayer, a Liturgy for Ordinary Radicals by Shane Claiborne, Jonathan Wilson Hartgrove, and Enuma Okoro. Going through this book, going through the morning, midday, and evening prayers every day slowly began to nurture my heart back to life. Now, I already hear what you're saying. Now, some of you might argue that through this problem, praying this way was only furthering the problem. It was ritualistic, and the prayers aren't coming from my own heart, but the hearts of others. The truth is, though, is that my heart was completely dry, and I had nothing left. So I needed the words of those who had intimate, vibrant relationships with the Lord to teach me how to do the same. Praying this way wasn't a ritual; it was a rhythm that worked me back into praying my own words again. One of my favorite quotes from Clement of Alexandria says this: "We have become like old shoes, all worn out except for the tongue." Once I felt ready to pray my own words again, I knew that I couldn't just go back to my old way of praying. I needed a new way to pray that would be life-giving, not life-taking. So after reading and researching, I discovered a new way to pray when I began to learn about contemplative prayer. Contemplative prayer, or prayer without words, is a silent prayer that requires no speaking whatsoever. It is predominantly a time of resting in God and trusting that God knows what's on your heart. Richard Foster, one of my all-time favorite authors, says that contemplative prayer is the one discipline that can free us from our addiction to words. Progress in intimacy with God means progress towards silence. It is in silence when God can truly speak to us and when we can truly be close to God's heart. Prayer was just the beginning for me, though. There were two other practices that became essential to my health as a pastor. So, to learn about how to practice contemplative prayer and to learn about the other spiritual disciplines that are vital to your health as a ministry leader, please visit beatingburnoutblog.wordpress.com.